Back from Once Upon a Time, this is episode 2 of season 3, and I'm very excited to carry on with the season, see what it's got to offer. I loved the premiere, I thought it was so good, and I'm so excited to see where they're going to take this season. I love that we have, some parts set on Neverland. I love everything the characters were doing in the last one. I like my son standing up for himself, even though he's in a bit of a pickle right now, because Peter Pan's kind of shown his face, quite literally. And I'm very interested in seeing how he's going to be as a villain, but I'm really liking the idea of it. There's some very intriguing stuff with Mr. Gold at the end of the episode as well, where something made him cry, that doll thing, so I'm excited to find out more about that. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what's going to happen this season, because it got off to an absolutely amazing start, so I can't wait to carry on, see what's going to happen next, so let's get into it. Me and my shadow. Oh. Oh. Ah, so that's how that shadow thing was made. Does it have to be that dagger? So that can explain the connection between Gold and Pan.
You could call me Mom if you want. You've done it before.
That was back when we
were about to die.
Oh.
Oh no, I get it.
Maybe just Mary to start off with? Mary M? Eminem?
Oh, in these stories, what was I like? Other than a villain, handsome, I gather.
It's waxed mustaches and perms are your thing.
Yeah.
For everything your father and I have been through, there's one thing we've learned. It is never too late.
Bloody hope not.
Trust me.
Hey.
I haven't disturbed you yet. Just wait until you see this.
I haven't seen him in a while.
She's terrorized us for far too long. This kingdom doesn't belong to her, it belongs to us.
Yeah!
Who is ready to stand beside me and fight for what's rightfully ours?
Yeah. Me.
Quite the courageous army you're building.
She always knows how to make an entrance.
Now get down on your knees and swear on your father's grave that this kingdom belongs to me. You may have been a princess, but you will never be a queen.
You hear that too?
Oh. Run him through.
You're Emma, right? You will only be able to read that map when you stop denying who you really are.
Ooh. Parallels to the Regina in the snow scene a minute ago. Fucking Pan. It's pandemonium. Huh.
We'll stand by your side no matter what.
Even if it means our death.
I'll stand by you.
Wait, you think I'm in this for her crown?
Oh boy.
You said it, not me. Okay, I get it.
He's happy being a shepherd.
Trust me, I want what's best for Snow.
Oh. Oh, that's going to be a trick, isn't it?
How do I know Pan didn't conjure up a vision of you?
He didn't. You did. The question is why?
Oh.
You must have something that can change Snow's mind.
What?
She doesn't want to fight the queen. Just name your price.
$1 million.
This weapon. You say it will help me defeat Regina. How?
By showing her who you really are.
I'm now the sheriff of Storybrooke.
That election was a sham. Are we really doing this?
You're the...
Come on, you don't need to be embarrassed to say it.
Say what?
The S word.
Yeah.
This parchment belonged to Pan. It'll lead us to him.
So it appears we will be venturing into the dark jungle after all.
You mean the place you told us never to set foot?
That's the one.
Well, Emma, you said you wanted to be the leader. Lead.
Well, yeah, but she also said not to use the magic on the thing. Oh boy.
You know why I'm here?
You always saw the good in me.
I still do. And as much as you deny it, you're afraid you'll make the selfish choice.
I genuinely do. You know, this was the last thing my father gave me.
What happened to him?
He left me.
If you don't want to repeat the mistakes he made,
Again.
you need to let go.
Boom.
Ready to thank me?
Actually, yeah.
And that dog just lands on a bit of paper and destroys
Let me
it.
do it
Fuck.
sooner, maybe we'd have found him by now.
Privacy is a hard thing to come by when you have 7 big brothers keeping an eye on you.
They're protected.
Oh, that's one word for it.
Big
Jules
brothers.
been giving you a hard time. I have faith that you'll charm them, just as you charmed me.
It's in the name.
Forged by a benevolent mage. His name is Merlin. From a realm called Camelot.
Oh,
Here it is.
you're bringing all that into it as well. Oh, is it the sword and the stone? Oh,
Beautiful.
I love all the Arthurian stuff. Yes. Oh, this season has everything so far.
Only the kingdom's true ruler possesses the strength to free the blade.
I've never ruled anything.
Not yet. True leader.
Yeah, because if Charming was all about like the gold digging stuff, I think he'd want to make himself look like the big leader, not Snow.
Is that?
Oh, that's not going to be him.
Hi, Emma.
Little shit.
Cheaters never win.
Oh boy.
Watch out for their arrows.
Avengers assemble.
Shade.
Oh shit. Oh.
Emma, are you alright?
Ugh, like a pack of hyenas. Shut up. Oh. Oh, bitch.
You told me to stop denying who I really am. Well, that's exactly what I'm doing.
And then I'll see you on the battlefield. We'll be ready.
Oh boy.
You sure you don't want me to take a look at that?
I was lucky my jacket wasn't. Don't worry about it. I think we have
Yeah.
issues.
I worry about it if you keep drawing attention to it.
That look in his eyes. The despair. I had it back when I was in the foster system. Just a lost little girl who didn't matter. And didn't think she ever would.
Aww.
Little girl who cried herself to sleep at night because she wanted her parents so bad. And could never understand why they gave her up. I just feel like what I've always been. An orphan.
Just says lol joke.
I'm sorry. It's okay. It's the truth.
Ugh, that's fucking heartbreaking
You were an
though.
orphan.
She's an
It's my
orphan.
job to change that.
An orphan with parents. That's.
If that were Excalibur, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Oh,
Swords are fake, dearie.
he just
Surely
made that whole thing
craftsmanship
up.
too. But then again, what can you expect from a shepherd? Lucky it wasn't made out of wool.
I struck Regina. I drew blood.
Enough of your ramblings.
No, please.
That belonged to my mother.
And now it belongs to me.
Oh,
You had it inside you the entire time. You just needed some help to realize that.
But you didn't.
Oh, he believes in her. Oh good, I thought it was going to be a bigger deal than it ended up being.
We need a new plan.
Agreed. It's time we stop playing his game and he starts playing ours. And if I disagree,
A Peter plan, you could say.
I think you know our best chances together.
Just who are you, Swan?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Perhaps I would.
Oh. Oh. Looks like your past still haunts you, my friend.
Because when you find Henry, you'll understand him.
What's that supposed to mean?
He hasn't forgiven you either.
Oh, shit.
By the time you get to him, he'll never want to leave this island.
We'll see.
We'll fucking see.
And as for you, Emma,
Peter. Yeah, that cut's done something, hasn't it? God's sake. Let's fucking tell them. Oh my goodness. The lies. The deceit. The end. Another great episode. I really, really love that one. And where to begin with everything? Let's do all the flashback stuff first, I guess. I always like it when they kind of revisit the antagonistic relationship, I guess, between the Charmings and Regina. So it was cool seeing how they were kind of trying to comment on who should be like the rightful ruler of the kingdom, stuff like that. And I did think it was very interesting that Charming did actually play a trick almost on Snow to get her to believe in herself. But you know, he had completely good intentions, so I'm not too mad about that. And I like that we kind of saw that journey of Snow finding that belief in herself. And almost kick-starting a new war between Regina in that sense. Because we kind of see this transition to it not just being about Regina wanting revenge, it's now about a battle between them both for the kingdom as well. So it's kind of a whole nother level and layer to that kind of battle between the two of them, which I think is a very interesting new addition. So that's cool, seeing where they could go with that and how that's going to play out. Because I did think it was interesting that they kind of use those flashbacks to show almost just how much Snow needs Charming in that sense, to kind of make her see the best in herself, and make her accept who she really is. And that was a big thing in this episode, you know, the concept of who you really are. Because we saw that with obviously Snow in the flashbacks, we saw a lot of that with Emma, and trying to get the map and everything, and that led to kind of a devastating kind of revelation, really. And we also saw that a bit with Mr. Gold and his scenes with Belle, because he was talking about how he needed to become who he used to be in order to save Henry and find him and stuff. So I liked that kind of running theme through the episode. That was really cool. But yeah, we kind of had those flashbacks and we saw how much Charming kind of means to Snow in that sense, and the fact that he can help her see that potential in her. And then in the present day stuff, that's being threatened because now David's got that injury, which I'm sure is going to get worse and worse. I don't know how long they're going to drag that out for, him hiding that from them. As soon as they kept drawing attention to it, I was like, well, something's gone horribly wrong there. So take it he's been poisoned by that shit that Hook pointed out at the start. So intrigued to see where they go with that. I mean, I've seen a lot of TV shows kind of do the character's hiding this injury to protect their loved ones or some shit. So I've kind of seen it quite often before, and sometimes it can get really frustrating. So hopefully they don't drag that out for too long. But we'll see where they're planning to go with it, because I don't really, I don't see the point of that story right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that's going to fit into the grand scheme of things and why they've decided to have that story play out. Unless it's just to give David more of a storyline, because that was one thing I said about season 2. I feel like especially near the second half. David didn't really get much to do, so maybe that's why they're doing that, which is cool because it gives him more screen time. So we'll see where they go with it. I'm kind of interested in that. Even though it was all fake, I did like the inclusion of Excalibur as well, and like the Arthurian stuff. So that's really cool. I feel like we've gotten a bit before, I think, haven't we? I feel like early season 2 we had like an Arthurian legend guy show up, and I think they killed him. I can't remember which one it was. The name is on the tip of my tongue. It's really bugging me. Lancelot? I feel like Lancelot's been in the show, I think, unless I'm thinking of a completely different show. But I feel like they've definitely alluded to this kind of stuff before, so I like that they're kind of bringing that back into it. So that was really cool. I liked that a lot. And yeah, seeing Charming go up against the dwarves and stuff, and seeing like kind of resistance to accept each other there, I thought was an interesting thing to explore as well. And I'm glad that when that revelation that Rumpel kind of delivered to Snow about the fake sword and stuff came about, I'm glad we didn't really have that be like a big argument that kind of splits them apart for a bit, and she's really angry at him for ages, you know. So I suppose it would be tough to do that kind of thing in the flashback storylines, because we know in present day they're okay. So it would rob a lot of tension, I think. And for a show so heavy on flashbacks, I think they've done a very good job of not having those kind of stories for most of the time. I mean, it's obviously like the so-and-so's life's been threatened, or Regina's going to be executed, and you're like, well, I know this isn't going to happen. But I feel like they've done very well in selecting what flashbacks to use and what stories to tell in the flashbacks. It's more in like filling in backstory than having their lives be threatened all the time. So I did enjoy that aspect of it. And yeah, the whole thing with Emma, I really liked the storyline she had in this episode about, you know, you need to accept who you are for the map to appear. And she came to that revelation that she still thinks of herself as an orphan even though she has her parents. It's kind of a heartbreaking kind of thing. But it had kind of alluded to that a lot before, in that Emma doesn't want to accept that side of herself, and still doesn't, in that, you know, she still doesn't call Mary Margaret and David mum and dad unless she thinks she's dying. So I like how they kind of alluded to that whole thing, and they're clearly desperate to be Emma's mum and dad. So that revelation must be really devastating for them, really, that she doesn't really see them as that yet. Hopefully she will. I'm hoping that's kind of the big story they're going to go for in the long run. And she kind of accepts them as her parents, but it makes a lot of sense that she still may not truly forgive them for what happened with all that. And whether or not Henry doesn't agree or not, I don't know if that was Pan just getting into her head, but I could see that go either way. So we'll see where they kind of go with this whole thing. But it's a really kind of sad revelation. She still sees herself as this orphan. But yeah, Jennifer was great in that scene as well. And how Mary Margaret was just kind of accepting of it, you know. She wants to change that about Emma. So that was really nice as well. So the whole thing was kind of really heartbreaking, but I really liked that whole story and that revelation. I thought that was done really, really well. And yeah, Pan is a great villain so far. I'm really liking him. I'm really liking the actor a lot. He has the right kind of mix, I think, of the innocence of his face and, you know, him just being a complete arsehole at the same time. So I'm really enjoying him as the villain. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to escalate that a lot. And this whole thing with that little doll and Mr. Gold, he's still clearly hanging on to this aspect of his past, so I'm interested in seeing more and getting more answers about what that is. As he said, it was like the last thing his father gave to him or something. So there's some kind of thing there which I'm very excited to explore a lot more about. I think that's one of the big things I'm excited for this season. That really, really has me intrigued. And I liked the vision of Belle coming in as well. It was cool seeing her again in vision form to kind of guide Rumpel or Mr. Gold along the way. That was really cool. And seeing Gold cut off his shadow at the start of the episode I thought was an interesting thing. I mean, hide the knife. So I kind of wondered, like, when Pan, if you will, first appeared at the end of season 2, it was just that shadow thing. I was like, is that just Peter Pan? He's just this shadow? That's an interesting interpretation. But I guess he just cut his shadow off in the same way that Gold did here. So that's kind of interesting. I like that we've kind of got a bit of answers and backstory for that whole thing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they could be doing with that. And yeah, the whole David injury thing, we'll see what happens with that. And I really enjoyed just Virginia and Hook kind of throwing in the sassy comment here and there throughout the episode. And Hook's clearly getting more and more of a thing for Emma, which is kind of interesting as well. But yeah, overall, I really, really loved this episode. I thought it was really well done. I particularly loved the storyline Emma had in this episode, and I'm loving Pan as a villain as well. I think he's really, really cool. So yeah, very, very excited to see where they're going to go from here, you know, what continuing flashbacks we're going to see. Yeah, it should be very, very exciting to see what's going to happen. And you know, we didn't get anything from like Greg. No, not Greg. Greg's dead, thankfully. Neil, that's what I meant to say. We didn't get anything from him in this episode or anything. So I'm sure we're going to visit that storyline again at some point. But yeah, very, very excited to see where they're going to go from here. But I really like this episode. Season 3 is getting off to a hell of a start. And I'm very, very excited. So until my next reaction, thanks for watching.